Hi, my name's Eben. I'm youth worker here in the parish of East Greenwich in South East London. The young people that I work with here locally and those across the whole of the Woolwich area are very lucky to have a wonderful outlet like the Woolwich Youth Forum. It's an initiative that allows the young people to get together, meet others their age, interact with them, and grow their networks. But more importantly, they get to have a platform to talk about what is on their hearts, what drives them, what angers them, what they're inspired by, and what they are inspired to change. You'll see some of the subjects that have been covered in this video. These queries and concerns are then heard and acted on by leaders in the diocese and at diocesan synod. It's so important to give our young people that voice, but equally so that they are actually listened to. The following video will give you a little snippet of some of the things that have been discussed by members of the forum over recent months.
I don't think that my church has really said much about it, and they could just start by talking about it, then doing more.
Because everyone's saying they support the movement, but like they're not doing anything to show that they do support the movement. They post pictures on Instagram to show, or they're like posing and doing the knee down thing or with the fist raised up. Yeah, you're showing that you support the movement, but like, what are you doing?
Yeah, if it was more like a symbolic gesture than actual change at our church, at least.
And I think especially my church is also really diverse, and we've got, different people of different ethnicities in the clergy and in leading roles. And I think that's a good thing. And I think definitely a thing that could be changed is that having these conversations about race and racism, so these racist ideas can be challenged within the service.
Yeah, my church is quite welcoming. Although we don't get many people from different countries, my dad is from Africa and he's just as welcome as everyone. If one person gets one thing, then another person from a different race should get the same thing.
The church could get involved in more things. They could be more active in getting involved in showing their support. I think, actually, to be fair, when the George Floyd incident happened, I think that at first that we didn't really hear a lot from the church. And I think especially the fact that our congregation does have a big majority of Black people in it, I was quite surprised that no one had said anything initially. But then our priest spoke on it, which I think was really important. And I'm glad that he did speak on it. And then there was a lot of things going up on our church Facebook page about it. So I think it's good for the church to show their support regarding incidents like that, to make people feel more like the church is on their side.
Yeah, I mean, there are some songs that have become under fire by some people of the community because they've been seen as old-fashioned and not very appropriate for these times. So maybe if we could moderate, put the songs in moderation and see if they're all right for all members of the community. I mean, in like my primary school, we usually sang like a lot of modern Christian music, for example, stuff like Hillsong United.
I think maybe because racism exists in the real world, sometimes I think people think that because we're all Christians, we're all meant to be nice, that it doesn't translate at all into church. And I think maybe it's realizing that actually sometimes prejudices will still occur in churches. And if we don't think that that can happen, then we can never really address it.
I think not holding the differences against them at all. I think acknowledging it, because I think that's really important to acknowledge the differences, but respect the differences, then not move past them, but kind of accept them. If you have a problem with them, I think it's really important to look within yourself to find what needs to change, and then accept them into the church and be as welcoming as possible.
I think maybe if we do like more activities at our church, it'll be more helpful to invite more people to our church, because they might not know everybody, but if we try and do like an activity together, then it might be more helpful for them.
Well, I feel like also having conversations like this, as people have said, is also a good way to start tackling, because I guess in order to make change, there has to be conversation. And I feel like if there's good communication, then we'll be able to put things in place. But it's important not that we just talk, but we also take action. on the things we say.
If you as a church community are welcoming and open and an ally to people of all different ethnic races and backgrounds, then the people of those minorities and such will then feel more welcomed in to, I guess, create their own activities, which will then bring more people in.
Well, I guess they could like support more charities that help the Black community more, I guess.
Do a sermon on how people are not as fortunate in the past because of their race and how we can aim to equalise everyone.
At my youth group, there's not really a set timetable, but about once a month we do focus on a specific country in the world. So we've done Greece, we've done loads of different countries, and we each bring like different facts about it or a quiz.
In terms of like celebrating, our church could do like a little gathering where people from like different parts of the world bring their dishes together, and in a sense like it brings the whole community together.
People from the congregation from different heritages to do the speaking or try to have a BAME-led service during that month would be nice. It could just be even one song being from a different part of the world and just trying to explore how they also worship and how other cultures and how other countries do stuff, and try to include that in your services.
You could have like a special service dedicated to different cultures and different languages. So I know like at my school, we have like European Languages Day, and recently we've had like an online assembly about like languages that aren't European. So I guess like having a service dedicated to appreciating and embracing other people's cultures and learning about it could be something that we could look into.
We had a celebration like that at our church, and we had like people bringing in different foods from their cultures, and people doing like performances as well that represent their culture, which is really nice.
Sometimes it's the anecdotes of the people in our church, like how much struggles they had to go through after they came here. Sometimes the Windrush, or like the struggles you just had to go through being Black in London or England at the time.
Yeah, like the senior members of a church community, they'll usually speak during like when we'd have the sermon, and they'll kind of tell their story about when they first came to London or England. And it's very interesting to hear it because it doesn't feel like you're forcing anything upon anyone. It's a very kind of personable thing, like hearing people share their stories. It's a nice kind of atmosphere.
So experiences, celebrations in the month, and going around researching people. Anything else?
I'm sure that there was something that went round about what our church was doing, and a lot of other churches wanted to see how they could kind of start doing it at their churches. So also bringing churches together in a sense to see what other churches are doing around them.